Okay, welcome back everyone. Apologies for the technical issue we've had there. Slight sound issue I think was causing us a delay, but we should be good back up and running now. We've got 2 minutes 15 seconds left in the warm-up session where we have Sindre Grimseth for Target Race, and he's currently set the fast lap on a 1:15.672. Just in reference to what we will see at the start of the race, Ihab Abbas is the only one that has a penalty going into the A1 ring, also Red Bull ring. He cut the pit lane exit twice in Malaysia, which has incurred a +10 grid penalty for this race. Ryan Walker is currently in second place for Satellite Racing on a 15.782. So it's quite a compact field at the front with the drivers that have done times in warm-up. But nevertheless, we should be on for a promising race in behind, I think, James Shepherd at the moment, because Tom, it looks like he's classed the field once again already.
Yeah, I mean 1.1 seconds in qualifying, and I know from previous experience Oscar's no slouch, so that is ridiculous pace. I mean 1.6 seconds out of third. I mean, if anyone else the only way I can see him not winning is if he's damp at the start and he makes a mistake, but even then James was really quick in the wet in Malaysia, so what do you do?
Well, as I mentioned before, James actually made a mistake going to turn 1 on his first qualifying lap. Now, obviously, the thing that we have and we're experiencing here in the Red Bull Ring in Austria is it's very cold. The track temperature and the ambient temperature are very low. I believe that at one stage they're both beneath 10 degrees, so it's very cold conditions. And I think the one thing that's going to be intriguing to see is when these drivers come round is how much heat they'll be able to put into their tyres. And there's quite a lot of drivers that James Shepherd's going to have to wait for before he actually starts the race, so that could be pretty significant going into turn 1.
Yes, very significant. The temperature at the moment, the track temperature is 11 degrees, so that's actually the hottest I've seen it all week, so it's very cold out there in Austria. I mean, I looked at the road today for that real life, and it's 0 degrees, so it's going to be cold. I mean, what we've got to remember is we've got to have both tyres used as well. So people on the prime tyres, when do you get them out of the way? Do you get them out of the way at the start, or do you get them out of the way at the end? It's strategy as well. I mean, we really don't want to go on the prime today.
No, absolutely not. With the low temperatures and the conditions, it's extremely difficult to actually judge which tyre to be on and when to go onto the tyre as well. A lot of drivers obviously qualifying on the red option tyres, which is likely to be the best one due to obviously needing to get the most heat as quick as you possibly can. And that's what most drivers have currently done. So it's going to be a very close and frantic start, I believe. Heading up to turn 1 as well, see it's uphill, and then you go down into a slight dip before. It's a very steep uphill braking zone for turn 2. The apex of it's very tight as well, and we had cars last night in Formula Challenge filtering through 3 wide, and the rear of the cars, a lot of the rear of the cars stepping out, and it caused quite a lot of issues at the start of both races, and we may see that again tonight, including also with turn 1 then. Also, beyond that, it's more fast sweeping sections that you have to negotiate before you get down to the double right in the final sector, which again can be quite tight, but you can carry a lot of speed, and as James Shepherd did over the curbs as well, as we just wait for race direction to move us into the race session, and we will take you down the qualifying positions.
Yeah, just a bit of news. Ben Warren isn't racing today. His connection's a bit all over the place, so it's a bit of a shame for Ben. He's been practicing all week. He looked very quick as well. He was up there with Scott, so huge shame for Ben to miss out today. So we've only got 1 PB today. We've also only got 1 Scuderia Brasilia, as Janne Vananen for Scuderia Brasilia. He's got laptop problems, so he can't race today. So we've got a field of 24 today.
Yeah, exactly. A very strong and healthy field that we once again seeing in Supercup. Even though James Shepherd seems to be asserting his somewhat dominance at the moment, it's not discouraging any of these drivers currently, and they are all up for a good race today. The 24 cars that we will be seeing on track momentarily, as we just wait to move to the race session. So I'll just run you through the championship positions again. It's James Shepherd leading the way on 45 points with Villa Power on 33, some 12 behind. Ryan Walker's then on 32 and Sindre Grinseth on 31. So the second through to fourth are split by 3 points. And it's going to be pretty tightly contested between those three drivers again today. Jordan Weeks may spring a surprise and move his way up from 5th place on 22 points. But Shepherd's the main man at the moment, 12-point advantage on 45 points. It's then the constructors are much closer though. We've got Target on 64 and CSG on 63, just split by a point. Quite close then behind also with Innovision, Satellite and Multiforce. All non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
I think PB were in 6th place, but obviously with Ben out today, so that's going to take them a bit of a hit as we have now advanced to the race session.
Yeah, we have. It's a 46-lap race, this one. Like I said, it's a very short track. We're on about a 1 minute 14 lap, 1 minute 15. And it's going to be pretty intense from the outset, I believe. And with 46 laps, it's all about getting tyres up to temperature very, very quickly. And that's going to be a key and significant thing for today.
Yeah, there's a driver's pulled away from their grid. Nick, I'll let you go through the first half of the grid.
Sure, okay, so pole position man is James Shepherd of CSG with Oscar Hardwick, the replacement driver in 2nd place. That's for target race in that one. And then we have Jordan Weeks has actually missed the grid. Yes, you're absolutely right. He's in 3rd place, so he'll now start from pit lane. That's a disaster there for Multiforce. What an absolute nightmare for Multiforce there. Ryan Walker then, he moves up and he is in 4th place. And I can't believe I've just completely missed that. But it's actually wet on track, isn't it?
Yeah, 22% wet.
22%, yeah, it is, absolutely. It is wet conditions on track. Now, we've not seen any damp conditions all throughout whatsoever. And these guys are now out, and it's wet conditions. And they're all on dry tyres.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a shock for them all. Practice was a bit damp. I don't think it was as damp as that. But now that will take into effect, will they have to pass offline? So obviously offline.
I wonder if this is Jordan Weeks, mate. No, because he's sitting in pit lane on the soft compound, so on the options. So that he's not to come out on the wet tyres or anything like that. Patrick Gatewood, he's in 5th place. Sindre Grinseth in 2nd tight car, he's in 6th, the winner of the Malaysian Grand Prix. Scott Bennett, Innovision, is in 7th place with Roy Schroten in 8th for CSG Racing, James Shepherd's teammates. Pavel Loknovsky is out on the wet tyres. Interestingly, the 2nd Innovision car, Pavel Loknovsky, in 9th place, he is on the wet tyres.
I'll tell you what that means. He doesn't have to use the prime tyre.
That is very true. Vinod Moodley, he's in 10th place. Actually, if that's the case, then he may get a good start and just
Wicks
go on the other tyre.
Wicks is on wets. Ruzu's on wets.
Yep.
Stones is on wets. There's quite a few drivers.
Yeah, this could go either way because it's actually very bright conditions at the moment. I wish I could run you through the field, but they're already back at the grids as we were looking through. There's quite a lot of drivers that have gone onto the... we've got a yellow compound there. Devarkos, he's actually on the prime compound there also. He's on yellow tyres. We've got all differing compounds of tyres here currently.
Rest in peace, Davkos. That's all I can say.
As we await the lights.
I think Davkos won't be getting very far, unfortunately, but... Yep, just waiting for everyone to line up, get in their grid slots.
Yep, absolutely, and it looks like it's easing off in terms of the wet conditions, so the lights are on now. Waiting for the green to let go. Here we go, and away. James Shepherd, good start. Oh, Oscar Hardwick's had a terrible start there. He's really bogged down. Shepherd's away cleanly. Round the outside goes Gatewood. Another great start for Patrick Gatewood. And Pavel Loknovsky on those wet tyres goes straight into 2nd place. Oh, Shepherd's gone off. Oh, they've hit behind Oscar Hardwick and Patrick Gatewood. Gatewood's good start's been undone, and he's now down 7th place behind Dielemeister, who's had a cracking start. Mark Wicks, wet compound tyres, he's up to 4th, with Roy Schroten into 3rd, so the CSG guys. Oh, Loknovsky's gone for the lead! He brakes late and he's got it! Those wet tyres working for him at the moment. He's got the lead from James Shepherd. Shepherd's in 2nd place with his teammate Roy Schroten in 3rd, and Mark Wicks, with an absolute dynamite start, is up into 4th place on the wet tyres as well.
Target
so we've
boys
got
are in trouble.
Wet tyres to option wet. Patrick Gatewood's then in 5th place, he's recovered. Ryan Walker's in 6th with Dielemeister in 7th. Pestov's is 8th. O'Connor's come up to 9th, and David Nichols is 10th at Spun.
Wicks is up going for 3rd. Roy Schroten in long enough time. Can't make it stick this time, but those wet tyres are working very well at the moment. But like our esteemed cameraman Dave Carr-Smith said, just pointed out to us, it will dry up very quickly. So look, it's already down to 16%. So
it
these
will
wets
dry
will
up,
only last.
the only thing may be going for them is the fact it's cold, so they're getting tyre temperature into these tyres straight away. So they're getting. There we go. Wicks has gone straight by Schroeton already. So Wixie is up to third place. Shepherd is nestled into second place currently because Luknovsky is 1.3 seconds further down the road. For Innovision, superb effort. His pit request light's already come on. Now, has he played this well enough to see that it's drying up? He will not have to run the prime whatsoever. There'll be no prime running at all, and he can go straight back out on the option tyres. And I tell you what, if it's not a lot of wear, then he might be able to run to the end. He's got wide at turn 2.
Oh, but I think he's kept it. Yeah, he's lost about 2 attempts there, but he's still comfortably second ahead of James Shepherd and got much better traction out of that. So he's still pulling away. It's brilliant choice there from Luknovsky to go onto the wets there. Dabkos is out of the race, sadly. He's left game. Must have had an out of start. The target boys, though, look down. Oscar Harwick down in 20th
Wixie's run on at turn 3, in third place. But Schroeton's not been able to capitalise, and he's got Ryan Walker in the satellite car all over him as well. Doolameister and Gatewood going side by side. But they get it sorted out before turn 5. Doolameister holds the position.
Yeah, Roy under attack now from Ryan, and Wixie goes a little bit wide on Mr. Apex there into turn, must be 6. So just a little bit wide of Wixie, but managed to put it away with those wet tyres. Ryan Walker going for 4th place into the second fast corner.
Pavel's pitted. Pavel Luknovsky from the race leaders pitted. James Shepherd locks up going to the final corner, but gets it sorted out.
Wixie's in as well, so Ryan Walker and Roy Schroeton will go up to second and third now. Ryan and Roy had a bit of a tap into the final corner, but all fair game. They are fine, and James Shepherd now takes the lead.
So these guys will now not have to go onto the prime compound and can run the options to the end potentially if they wanted to. If they can
Dimitri's
make it.
Dimitri's gone wide into the first corner, and Gatewood and O'Connor have got past. O'Connor, where's he come from? O'Connor into 5th place now.
Luknovsky's coming down pit lane. He's going to come out behind Dan Russo, I think, in 14th place, is he? Or is Martin Bolgin going to get by as well? He does, so he's out in 15th place. Wixie is up just behind. He's 3.4 seconds further down the road. But Luknovsky, with a lot more speed than Martin Bolgin, looks like he's going to go straight past for 14th place. To see, yes, he does. And Dave Nichols has spun as well for Satellite Racing. So Pavel Luknovsky is up to 14th, and he's on fresh tyres now as the wetness of the track starts to evaporate.
Yeah, but it's still 20%.
And the racing line really starts to emerge.
Yeah, but offline it's still 20%, so it's still a bit dodgy as Russo goes wide into turn 3. He's still on the wet tyres, interestingly, so Russo hasn't actually got his pit light on yet, as looks like he's going to try and make a move now. Nope, not this time. Well, have a look at that. He's got much quicker through that left-hander.
Well, in all that, James Shepherd has opened out a 7-second advantage over Ryan Walker, who's in second place. Shepherd does an 18.9 there, a pretty healthy time coming across the line, as it is a 21.7 there for Ryan Walker, so that wasn't a good lap at all. Roy Schroeton is in behind with Patrick Gatewood going up the inside of him, is he? No, Schroeton cuts across the nose, but this has given O'Connor a great line now because Gatewood was much tighter line through turn 1. He's not got as much straight line speed though by the looks of it, as Gatewood closes on Roy Schroeton on the CSG car. Will he jink right? He does indeed, brakes later. Can't get it done though.
Yeah, it looked like Scott Bennett had an instant into the final corner. Like he had a spin down in 10th place now. William Tringas and Pawlowski just behind him. Oh, and Grimsev goes off. Into the turn 2. Doesn't hit the wall, managed to keep out of the wall, but he's struggling down in what must be in 10th place now.
Absolutely, yeah. He's not enjoying these conditions compared to what he was in Malaysia at the moment, and he's down in 10th with Will Tringas just behind him.
Yeah, but in the second target car, Oscar Harwick's down really far down.
Mark Locar's gone straight on at turn 5 in 5th position, now 6th. He's gone straight on. He's returned to the track and he's got Ihab Abbas closing in.
Oh, and Gatewood spins! and Dimitri Dumalista. Oh, God, I mucked that name right up. Oh, and Gatewood nearly hits O'Connor coming back onto the track. Oh, all action here in this. What lap are we on? I don't know what lap we're on anymore. It's all gone wrong.
Yeah, they're all massively oversteering as they try and get them under convict, because it looks like there's definitely a dry line, but it's still very, very wet offline. And Ihab Abbas, who had a 10-place grid penalty, remember, is in 7th place and not too far behind Patrick Gatewood. So these guys are just tapping the edge of the track and they're spinning off because of it. Roy Schroeton is now 2 seconds behind Ryan Walker. Shepherd is up to a 9.5 second advantage, incredibly. Yeah, James Shepherd is absolutely flying at the moment. He's 2 tenths up again on this lap as well, as Ryan Walker is trying to close him down.
Yeah, I think James is got this, well, the commentator's curse, but I think he has got this sealed now, hasn't he? 9 seconds ahead.
Oscar Hardwick with a 17.9 there. Very good lap.
Well, Bennett very twitchy into turn 2 as Pavel Lomsky's overtaken Sindri Grimsev for 9th position. So Pavel already into 9th after that pit stop, so looking very good.
He's made a stop. He's on the fresh tyres, and Lotnovsky he should be able to run those tyres all the way to the end now, and he's already up to 9th place. Driver's spinning in front of him also. Pestov's looks like he may have had him. He's still on the wet tyres, in fact. Oh, that is horribly wrong for him. It's too dry for that now, so Jordan Weeks is closing in on him. James Shepherd, 1:16.9. What a lap there. That is from James Shepherd. An incredible lap. Second place man Ryan Walker's about to cross the line now.
18.5.
He can fill in 18.5. That's 2 seconds, well, nearly 2 seconds difference.
Yeah, Roy only did a 1:20.3. He's got Dimitri Demilisa actually catching him 1 second of that 19.3. But yeah, he's 2 seconds quicker than the rest of the field almost, like you said. So looking great. Pavel also done a 19.3 with an overtake. So Pavel looks like he may be the second fastest man on track should he get some clean air.
This is very reminiscent of what Dave Smith was able to do in the last race in Super League as well, where he had the 2 second advantage because he was just able to negotiate these conditions so elegantly well. And it's exactly what James Shepherd is doing now. Out in zone at the front, control his pace, control his tyres, and he's 3/10 up on his own time once again. So no, sorry, he's a 10th up on his own time, but 3/10 up on the next best time. So Shepherd, it's absolutely flying at the moment. He's going to cross the beam again for the second sector. Oh my God, he's 8/10 up on this lap. He's got so much confidence, that car now.
He must have got those tyres up to temperature, and he really is just absolutely running away from it now. Coming up to lap down route already.
5-second lead he now has. He crossed the line.
Flat.
Wow. That's an incredible time. 8/10 he improved by on that lap, and that was mostly in the middle sector.
But yeah, we got Ryan Walker crossing the line now, 17.9. So yeah, 2 seconds. 2 seconds a lap already.
Incredible. Absolutely. 2 seconds. Ryan Walker goes through turn 1, and we should have Roy Schroeter's dropped to 4.6 off the back of Ryan Walker.
Ehab out. Ehab's out of fuel. Ehab a Bass. What a great start he had, and he's just run out of fuel. Huge shame for Ehab. A brilliant start. As yeah, but there he goes. He's left the game, so huge shame for him there.
That's an incredible shame. What a start that was, and he's out of fuel and he's had to retire. That's so unfortunate as Oscar Hardwick is closing in on Morten Wernersen at the moment in the Vod Bull car. This is over 12th place. Jordan Weeks is not too far down the road, but Oscar Hardwick's going to make an impression on the Vod Bull driver momentarily, it would appear.
I say someone who is struggling, Sindri Grimsev's really struggling in these conditions. Will Tringas, he has just passed him, but Will Tringas is now all over him again. He had a dodgy turn 2 to Sindri, and he's really struggling. He's only down in 9th place, so Target aren't having the best of days today. Obviously, where they're in the battle with CSG for the constructors, it might hurt them this race.
It's pretty significant as well. What we're seeing here is the fact that when you get offline, it is so wet. Oscar Hardwick was wheel spinning out of turn 2, a 15.6 now for Shepherd, by the way. But it's so wet still off the racing line. These guys are, there's literally the smallest window they are trying to keep in to keep these tyres up to temperature. But offline it is still very damp. And a lot of these drivers are getting caught out by it as Oscar Hardwick tries to close in on Wernersen again. He's not been able to get by him, and Jordan Weeks has just negotiated Vinod Moodley there by the looks of it. Patrick Gatewood, this is over 5th position. Patrick Gatewood has gone past Martin O'Connor. He went round the outside into turn 2 and he's got it done. So Patrick Gatewood, Multiforce, moves past Martin O'Connor, and he's now going to be chasing down Dimitri Duelmeister.
Yeah, Pavel's
I've probably butchered that name as well.
Scott. So Bennett's going to be taking Lock's going to be taking Bennett soon, but it looks like hopefully we'll be any multi-21 orders there. So, yeah, the second quickest driver on the track at the moment is actually Jordan Weeks down in 11th position. He's really on it, just in a 17 flat. He's the only person within a second and a half of James. So,
14.7 from Shepherd now.
Holy.
Ryan Walker, he's still in second place, and he's 18.8 seconds down. He's come up towards Andreas Waters that he only have to negotiate momentarily. But Ryan Walker sitting comfortably in second place. He did a 17.9. He does now another 17.9, in fact, or 18.0, sorry. So 18.0 plays a 14.7. Wow, what pace difference James Shepherd has in the class of 1 at the moment in the CSG.
Yeah, Roy Stroton just matched Ryan 18 flat, 19.3 from Dimitri, and 18.1 from Gatewood as well. So he's catching O'Connor and 18.6, still on his tail. Scott Bennett, 17.6, very quick from Scott. Scott looking like he's on the pace, and 17.4 from Powell. So these are two Innovisions are really on it.
Yeah, the two Innovisions looking very, very handy. And Pavel, obviously, he's already made his pit stop. He's closing in on Scott Bennett now, who's the next driver. And Scott's made a slight mistake, has he there? He does both. Well, the Innovision's been able to sort it out, but Pavel's got by Scott Bennett. So that's the position change. That's 7th for Lotnowski, and Bennett drops down to 8th place.
Weeks is passing Tringas into turn 2. Oh, they touch as they on the exit. Jordan gets a bit of a wiggle and goes past. But Oscar and Jordan are both in the 16.6 and 16.8 respectively, so they're both catching the top 10 as quick as they can, but how far they can get up during the race, 36 laps to go still, so plenty of time to see where these two can get up to with that immense pace, but anyone's within 2 seconds. Bennett's off! Bennett's gone off! Oh, nearly runs into Cindre as he comes back onto track. Yep, Bennett looks like he's struggling a bit. He's just gone off down in 9th place now in the sweepers. I think that 10th with Jordan Weeks passing him.
Yep, so that's Weeks up inside the top 10 now, as he is in 9th with Grimseth in 8th. Loknovsky is in 7th and closing on Martin O'Connor, who's 6th place. Patrick Gatewood is 5th with Dulamister in 4th. Roy Schroten is the 3rd place man, back to lap Andreas Waters. Ryan Walker is in 2nd place, 6.1 second advantage over Roy Schroten at the moment, but a 21.5 second advantage for James Shepherd now.
Yep, he really is just cruising now. All he needs to worry about now is putting those prime tyres on for a lap or two, and he's done. So James really just must be in cruise mode now. Got no worries ahead or behind of him. So
yeah, he's just had to negotiate a little bit of traffic there, and he's in a 16.1 that time by, so still faster than everyone else, but he's just had to negotiate the traffic there by looks.
He's only a second faster this time. How could you, James?
Exactly, yeah. So Ryan Walker, he is coming across the line now, and he's done a 16.8 for Ryan Walker there. So it's a pretty handy one. Yeah, the times are coming down. Times are definitely coming down from the front runners. Roy only was 18.1 that time, but Dimitri also... Yeah, overall the front runners actually, Roy seems to be the slowest man at the moment. He's in 3rd place. Dudamister's just on a 17.6. Pavel's 16.8. But he's been pushed pretty heavily by Patrick Gatewood. He's just behind him as well, so we've got a battle on for 4th place momentarily if Gatewood gets a run on Dulamister, and it looks like he has got a run. Is he close enough? No, not going up towards... Oh, that's the late braking. Oh, well done, Gatewood. He lifts off the brake just before the corner, and he's got by him. So Gatewood's up to 4th place. Yeah, what makes it more impressive is that it's still wet offline, still 16% wet. Dimitri's got a run on him. I'm not sure what Dimitri's doing there, by the way. He's flicking his wheel left and right, almost like he's trying to trick Gatewood, and Gatewood's having none of it. Yeah, but that hasn't worked for him now. Gatewood's got the line. He's going to start pulling away shortly. As up behind him, O'Connor and Pavel's. Luknovsky's actually caught O'Connor out, so it looks like we have a battle for 6th place on our hands very, very soon. Gatewood's now pulling away because Doomless has just gone a little bit wide, and it's allowed Martin O'Connor to close in. But of course, the man on the move is Pavel Loknovsky, and he's setting some good times at the moment. He's done a 16.8 also. And he's getting ever closer to O'Connor and Dulamister. Got a yellow flag. Andreas Waters has gone off that final corner. That might have cut a few of those drivers out. Looks like it's caught Dimitri out, as O'Connor's got a bit of a run on him. 17.3 from Pavel that time, so not a quick snap he's done. Still nevertheless very quick. Pavel taking plenty of curve in turn 1 there as he closes in on O'Connor, Dulamister and Gatewood. Interesting, Pavel ran offline there, so I think he might be trying to cool his tyres down. Yeah, look, he's running a bit offline, so I'm not sure if that's just steering or whether he's intentionally doing it. Don't really, you shouldn't really need to cool those down at the moment. Still very cool temperatures, ambient temperature of 5 and a track temperature of 11 currently. So it's, you shouldn't need to cool them down just yet, I would have thought. Gatewood is in 4th place. Now there's 5-second gap between him and Roy Schroten. Lapping slow at the moment is Roy Schroten. Oh no, last lap was decent for Roy actually. He's lapped at the same speed as what Gatewood did. Ryan Walker is further 8 seconds down the road from Roy Schroten, and it's now 25 seconds for James Shepherd. I'm not entirely sure what it is for a pit stop, but I think that's enough. Yeah, I think James will be able to pit comfortably as long as he doesn't
muck up the pit entry. Like I said, there's a nasty bump on the pit entry, so we could be seeing a few pit stop errors. So got to wait for that and see how that pans out. But see, look, I think O'Connor may have a run on Demonista, but I think Gatewood's had a bit of a sloppy lap as well. Yeah, 17.6 compared to 17 flat from Gatewood, O'Connor, and Pavel. Pavel 16.9.
Pavel is getting ever closer to the back of Martin O'Connor. He takes a lot of curb in turn 1, and it's actually screwing his eggs up a little bit here. It's creating quite a lot of oversteer, and it's not really working out for him at the moment as he's closing in. Is Pavel Loknovsky onto the back of Martin O'Connor, as O'Connor is trying to negotiate the back of Dulemister. Gatewood's not pulled away as much as I thought he might have done. It's only at 9/10 at the moment, but still he's going to have the guys behind him battling momentarily, so that should open the advantage out a little bit further.
O'Connor very close to the back of Demonista there, but it can't quite make a move stick. It's like they're very, very similar pace. He can't just get the move to stick. Also, just behind him, Jordan Weeks has taken Sindhu Grimseth, who actually went off again at turn 1. So Sindhu isn't having the best of races here today. Obviously, where he won a very impressive race last time out in Malaysia, just hasn't got it today.
We've got a side-by-side there for O'Connor and Dulemister, but he's settled back in just behind him. A lot of these drivers, as soon as they get into the middle sector, don't have a lot of confidence. They really don't. They can't see the line or don't have a lot of grip through to find where the line is, because Gatewood lost so much time in the middle sector, and Dulemister is now all over the back of him. And this is for 4th place. So Dulemister is going to get Gatewood back, as he no. Late braking from Gatewood. Good job.
That'd be a brave move into turn 1. He's mucked Demonista up. He's got O'Connor and Pavel up all over him now. Pavel should have the double slipstream up into the turn 2. So just see what he can do. No, he's going to run to the outside. Can Pavel
Pavel's going to brake later as he... that's cheeky. That's very cheeky there from Martin O'Connor. Pushed him right out. He definitely came left on him. And O'Connor pushed Loknovsky quite wide there. A little bit naughty.
Yeah, if he was moving in the braking zone, that's a very, very naughty thing to do. Pavel had to dry a line as well, so he could have got that move done. As Demonista goes very wide into turn 3 there. And also kind of side by side into this left-hander here. He's on the outside. He's got the dry line, though. And he does it.
The outside O'Connor.
Good
what
move.
a move. O'Connor gets it done around the outside. I think it was a slightly drier line there. And it's
gone
on the inside.
Demonista having a bit of trouble with tyres. I'm not sure if they're wearing out. They shouldn't be wearing out this early on in the race. So
again, though, as soon as they get into the middle sector, they're really starting to struggle. There's not a lot of confidence about these drivers other than James Shepherd and Ryan Walker. Everyone else seems to be struggling a little bit more.
O'Connor nearly taps the back of Gatewood and turn. Now Loknovsky's going to have a great one on O'Connor into turn 1. O'Connor goes defensive. He's on the wet line.
He's not even bothered. He's not even bothered going to try and chase him down. Loknovsky. He knows he's got superior speed and better braking. What a move, Loknovsky. Look how late he was on the braking there. Beautiful sweeping move. So Loknovsky's up to 5th now on those fresher tyres, chasing down Patrick Gatewood, but he's going to have Martin O'Connor all over the back of him. Now, we've seen these two go side by side before, and this time, O'Connor, what are you doing? Oh, wow.
Round the outside, nearly very impressive move. I thought
he was going to go right across the nose of Loknovsky then. He looked like he was going to sweep right across the nose, but just about got it stopped. It turned into a good move.
As Pavel, what is he going to do? I think he's going to try, but he can't quite make it stick. Yep, it's a good line from O'Connor, but this is actually allowing Gatewood to get away from them, so Gatewood's going to have a bit of a gap as these two keep battling, although O'Connor was very cheeky a couple of laps ago, of course, we saw. Roy Schroeting 5.5 seconds up the road, who's a further 10 seconds down on Ryan, so podium positions look very assured now as Gatewood comes up to lap Russo in a very tricky spot. I think we'd like to lap someone and do these final 2 corners.
O'Connor was being very firm there, but it's maybe a little bit too info because that was almost chopping and cutting across the nose of Loknovsky there, so have to be a little bit careful, but got the job done as the guys now of Gatewood, O'Connor, Loknovsky and Dulemister to lap Dan Russo in the VOD Bull there. He moves up the position. Sorry, he was lapping him there, was he? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Dan Russo's been lapped. So we then have Gatewood from O'Connor from Loknovsky. Now Loknovsky's got to run on Martin O'Connor again. This is going to be 5th. The inside line for Loknovsky, is it? It is indeed. Brakes later.
There's a bit of spray
too late. He's going to go straight on. Cut back.
No, he hasn't got the pace, and I think he's actually going to have to be under threat from Demonista as he comes into the turn 3 at Demonista. He's pushing him along the straight. Pavel will not give that inside line up.
Absolutely not.
Break later. And is he going to get a switch? No, he can't quite do it. Oh, but he has, yes. He's taken his shorter line into that corner, and he's made it stick. It's on the dry line. Pavel's lost a place there. Look, when he could have actually gained one, so a nightmare lap there for Pavel.
Yeah, that's not been a good run for Pavel at all there. And he's now dropped back to 7th place. Jordan Weeks is further 6 seconds off this, but while these guys have been battling, he's actually been turning in some pretty decent times. 1:15.7 is his best. He's going to hit the middle sector now. He's lost time on his own PB there as well, unfortunately. James Shepherd is 30 seconds in the lead over Ryan Walker. Ryan Walker is a further 11 seconds in front of James's teammate Roy Schroten in 3rd place. He was then a 5-second advantage over Patrick Gatewood. James Shepherd, though, is just trundling on nicely. He may be diving into the pit lane on this lap. We are on 16 at the moment. Does he pull right into pit lane? He does. Okay, so James Shepherd into pit lane. This
Also,
will be
O'Connor as
the
well.
Prime tyre.
I say O'Connor's in pit. O'Connor's got his pit light on, so another one who could be pitting early here. Very surprised at that.
Shepherd hits the box.
Very
Prime
surprised.
tyres go on.
Prime tyres, that'll be interesting to see how these work out for him. I'm very surprised to pit so early on because unless James has switched them on.
The primes will last, absolutely no problem. It's just obviously they're going to be very, very cold and getting them up to temperature might be a bit tricky. Ryan Walker coming through the final corner as James Shepherd is pretty much into turn 1 now. Exiting turn 1 at the pit lane as Ryan Walker hits the line. 20 seconds that was for a stop in total. So 30 seconds he had the advantage, 10 seconds he still has. Roy Schroten goes on through. Patrick Gatewood is in 4th place and O'Connor dives in.
So that's released Pavel into the path of Demolisto, who's had actually a bit of a mare of Sector 3 as well. So Demolisto may actually be under threat from Pavel again, but looks like he's got enough of a gap into turn 1.
Absolutely. So O'Connor's in pit lane. Will he re-emerge? Oscar Hardwick goes by with Martin O'Connor in pit lane. Bennett goes by as well. Morton Vernon goes by. O'Connor's now coming out. Wicks is gone through. And
O'Connor
there's quite a big... and Graham Seth as well. There's quite a big gap then. 26 seconds to Dale Stone. So Martin O'Connor will come out in 13th.
Yeah, we've gone onto the option tyres again, so we'll have to use those primes at the end of the race.
Yep.
Interesting to see what James's pace is on the... Oh, as Pavel goes past Dimitri for 5th position.
Yeah, this is the problem that Pavel's obviously had now. He's been battling pretty heavily against these guys that are around him, and he needed some clear air to put in some good laps to bring down the deficit to Shepherd, and I don't think that's going to work out for him now, unfortunately, because Shepherd's by far and away the fastest man out there. Let's see how his tyres, his new tyres, of course, on the primes are going to treat him. Ryan Walker has gone through again. He is 12 seconds in front of Roy Schroten on the option tyre. As James Shepherd is 4 tenths down on his own time in Sector 1 there. So it's going to take a couple of laps for them to get up to temperature, I think, these prime tyres.
Yeah, they will. I mean, we saw the options took a few laps to switch on, didn't they? And the prime tyres will be even worse. So could be up to 5 laps with James turn up. Although this is James Shepherd we're talking about, he's probably going to get the turn on straight away. He probably even go quicker on them somehow. So, I mean, will he pit again? I can't imagine he will need to, but we'll have to wait and see.
So Shepherd comes across the line. Comes across the middle sector. I've not actually got a split time now, unfortunately. Into the final 2 corners he comes. He's definitely struggling with grip, that's for sure. He's not got a lot of confidence yet as these tyres come up to pressure. 7.5 seconds of gap to Walker now, so taking a second out of him. It's a 15.3 there.
18.1.
Yeah, 15.3 for Shepherd and 16.4 for Walker. So he actually got getting a little bit of time back there, did Shepherd. In the final sector, yeah, so they're obviously starting to come up to temperature now on him.
Yeah, but that was actually Ryan's fastest lap of the race so far, so definitely getting quicker as Roy sets a 17 flat. I think that's his fastest lap of the race as well. Well, Pavel's got past Dimitri, and Dimitri's actually got Jordan Weeks all over him now, so another interesting battle to go on as we go to turn 1. Jordan's just a tenth or a half behind Dimitri. Jordan's just set a 15.6. Very impressive time there from Jordan. Absolutely on it. And actually, Oscar Howard behind him is in a 15.5, so these two are really on fire as they try and make up for earlier incidents.
Yeah, Patrick Gatewood is 1.4 seconds in front of Pavel Loknovsky, who's got 1.8 over Jordan Weeks at the moment. So it should be, looks like it'll be a multi-force sandwich with the Univision in the middle, battling it out very shortly. because it's still 5 seconds that Roy Schroten has over Patrick Gatewood. And the gap between Walker and Shepherd is at 6.6 currently. It's a 17.1 there for Shepherd.
He did have to get past Dale
And this is going to be a 16.4 there for Ryan Walker. So there's the pace difference currently at this point in time.
James did have to get past Dale Stones. I didn't see if it affected him or not. I don't think Dale's that bad to have affected him. So we've got about P4, Gatewood and Luknovsky. Luknovsky's got a bit of a run, but I don't think he's going to have enough to get into turn 1 this time. Powell does a 16.4 that compared to the 17.2 of Gatewood, but behind him, Jordan Weeks at 15.6, even with an overtake there. So Weeks really is trying his hardest to pull. Oh, look at that, 15 flat from Oscar Hardwick. Oscar Hardwick really is only 3 tenths off actually the fastest lap of the race. So Oscar Hardwick really is pushing. I think he's very qualified second and then had an incident at turn 1. So Oscar was making up for lost time.
Yeah, it looks like Patrick may be struggling a little bit here. He's gone a little bit deep in turn 2, and it's give Luknovsky a little bit of a chance to close in on him. As Jordan Weeks is definitely one of the fastest men out there at the moment in this second Multiforce car. He's having a good run at the moment, is Jordan. In fact, both Multiforce cars are having a very strong race here, which is fantastic to see with Gatewood and Weeks. Luknovsky's now tucked up underneath the rear wing of Gatewood.
Nichols left again, so Nichols has had an incident and is out of the race as Pavel sits behind him into this corner. Very brave decision. One thing we've got to remember is Jordan actually started from the pit lane, obviously, where he missed the start of the race. So what could have been a story of what could be with Jordan if he hadn't missed the grid? He could be in second place right now. As Luknovsky still a bit too far behind for turn 1, I think. Oh, is he going to go for it? No, he stays behind. Very wise decision as we got Dale Stones coming out of the pit lane there. But Jordan, look at that. Jordan right on the back of Pavel already.
Looks like they're both Multiforce cars are running a bit less downforce as well, and this has given Jordan a great run on the back of Luknovsky. Oh wow, in between the 2 cars there. What a move! He goes in between Dale Stones and Luknovsky, and Jordan Weeks goes up to 5th place. What a fantastic move that was. So Jordan Weeks is now up behind his teammate Patrick Gatewood. Will there be team orders in the Multiforce team today?
Yeah, it looks like Pavel didn't actually fight that one too much, so I'm not sure Pavel's just recognised he's a bit faster, but it looks like Pavel just let him by. He wasn't battling as much as he was with O'Connor, say, for example. So, Weeks and Gatewood.
Jordan Weeks is very forceful in the end to get by him.
And Pavel goes through as well. So I wonder unless Gatewood's struggling with fuel.
Is Gatewood's tyres just completely gone? I think Gatewood might have just been completely out of tyres, or he's just really struggling with oversteer. Yeah, 1.1 second loss there, so Gatewood's not got a lot of confidence all of a sudden in the car.
He's not coming into the pits.
To go by, and Pavel Luknovsky.
Well, he's gone through again, so there's no problem with the pits. Dimitri Demilisto on the other hand does come in, so that really isn't Oscar Hardwick.
Our race director has kindly pointed out that James Shepherd, he's only been lapping in the 18s currently, and Ryan Walker in the 16s, and the gap is now down to 2.5 seconds between Ryan Walker and James Shepherd. So Ryan Walker's closing in on Shepherd.
Closing on him very quickly as well, by the looks of it. It was the last lap for Ryan. I can't quite see that on my screen, but he's got Andre Waters to get past into this left-hander. But yeah, 2 seconds now the gap, so Ryan's on it at the moment. I'm not sure how long he has until he pits. I think these tyres can last for about 30, 40 laps, so maybe James has done the wrong decision here to go into the primes for so long.
Possibly so, but he's definitely got a very fast Scotsman chasing him down at the moment in Ryan Walker. Looks like there's a few troubles on pit entry there also for a few drivers. It is a 17.8 for Shepherd and a 16.0 for Walker.
Yep, Oscar Hardwick's got his pit light on, so maybe Oscar will be coming in this lap as well. He's been looking very quick, his best lap of 15 flat, so Oscar could have been up there with James had he not had that incident at turn 1, but he's 3.5 seconds behind as does he dive into pit lane? Yes, he does. So Oscar Hardwick into pit lane. There's actually a front wheel at the start of pit lane, so someone's had an incident. Yes,
Scott Bennett's also currently in pit lane at the moment. Oh no, it's Scott Bennett's at the moment. His front left has disappeared from his car.
Oh, he's out. Scott Bennett's out. He's gone to his pit box. Huge shame there for Bennett. Twix is in as well.
Yeah, there we go. Scott unfortunately has now completely retired.
Oh, Hardwick comes out of the pits. Right on the pit lane. Look at that. I had to dodge the safety car where that target But the Target Racing pit box is right into the safety cars. He had to do a bit of a Scandinavian flick just to get out. Oh, nearly killed the pit exit there, but everything's perfectly legal. Just out behind O'Connor, so he's got to negotiate O'Connor there before he can get into what is going to be 8th position.
And Ryan Walker is now underneath the second behind James Shepherd as they go into the start straight.
Yeah, but he's got no intention of pitting, but looks at 16-2.
16-8 to pose at 16-2. He's absolutely right there. Ryan Walker has closed the gap and he's chased down James Shepherd. Of course, Walker hasn't pitted. Shepherd's pitted once already. So it could be we may be seeing here Walker on a 1-stop and Shepherd on a 2. But we've already seen how quick Shepherd is on the option tyres when he is on them.
And Ryan's still got to get the primes out of the way, so...
Absolutely.
Whether this will be like I saw in the Malaysian Grand Prix in Formula 1 where Lewis was really on it to overtake Gasol and then just drop back at the end. We've got Jordan Weeks who's got a run and Rory Schroeder for 3rd place. Going to turn 2 here. He's got past... Oh, he hasn't got, yeah, he's got past before he even gets to the corner, so... Good to be able to Roy back up the inside. I think he's braked a bit too late though. He's going to get the switch back from Jordan. Yeah, Jordan through there and Jordan up into 3rd place.
I think James just made a mistake there because Ryan Walker has gone through. So he's got that one sorted out. So Shepherd is now second. He's 1.1 behind Walker. So Ryan Walker up into race lead. Right, so James Shepherd's actually gone wide at turn 3 and it's allowed Ryan Walker through. So Ryan Walker takes the race lead. And he's got a 8/10 advantage. He's just done a 16.6, 18.3 for James Shepherd there. So it's a Satellite Racing leading a race again here, Tom, where Ryan's done this in a couple of races already, but he's not been able to convert it as of yet. And on lap 25, he has the race lead once again.
He does, and Roy's actually lost position to Pavel, so Roy's gone from 3rd to 5th in the space of a couple of laps. So Roy really struggling and done an 18.9 there compared to Pavel's 16th lap. But Pavel's got his pit light on. Gatewood's also in now, thanks to Dave Costner for that information. Gatewood comes into the pits from what was 6th place, sorry. Verneson goes past. But
yeah, over half distance now here also, so this could be Gatewood's one and only stop. He's going to come back out on the prime tyre, and I would have thought here, Tom, probably run it all the way to the end.
Yeah, that does look like it's going to be the end. That's going to one of only stop with Gatewood. I think the options could have lasted a bit longer, really. I think from what I was talking to people in testing, they've gone to lap 35, so I can't see why they wouldn't have optimised the option tyre unless, of course, they were losing that much time. But yeah, he comes out in 7th place, Gatewood, behind Verneson's got a 13.5-second gap, so plenty of time for him to make that up in the last 20 laps. Roy Schroeder in 5th with Pavel in 4th, but Pavel's got his pit light on, so Pavel obviously could be coming into the pits, but he doesn't have to put the prime tyre on, remember, so he may be in advantage towards the end of the race.
Yeah, so currently we have Ryan Walker leading from James Shepherd in 2nd place for CSG.
Oh, Pavel's crashing today into the entry pit lane. He's done exactly the same as Scott's done. He lost his front wing and his left foot. That's a shoe shame for Pavel. He could have definitely had the podium place in his sights. Pestov's right behind him there.
That's incredible that both the Innovision cars have done exactly the same. Oh no! Oh, he hit the lights on pit entry. It's taken Pestov's out as well.
Oh dear, Pavel.
He was trying to pull it to the left-hand side so Pestov's would go by, and now he's looped it in pit lane, and he has hit Pestov's, and I think that is game over for Pestov's maybe as well.
I think that's going to be race over for Pavel. I think he's going to be lucky to get that pitted. He's got it in pit.
He's going to be able to get that back at all.
Well, he's got it in. He's in the box though. He's in the box, but I don't think they're changing. Oh no, he's not. I think this is going to be race over for Pavel.
Race leader, Ryan Walker's into pit lane though. Ryan Walker is now in pit lane, so Shepherd goes through and retakes the race lead. So short-lived for Ryan Walker as he now is into pit lane, and he will put the prime compound on and run it to the end of the race, whereas Shepherd's been on it for a while, got them up to temperature, and I suspect will... well, no, he should be able to run it all the way to the end if he wanted to, I guess.
Yeah, it should be comfortable to the end now. Only 18 laps, 28 laps on the prime, or on the option, sorry, so it should be sorted. But huge
Walker is released, as Weeks is also in pit lane at the moment. So the cup point for most drivers seems to be around about 27, and Schroeten's also in.
We've got a battle for 6th place between Gatewood, Hardwick and O'Connor. Hardwick, quickest man on track, I think, at the moment, but he can't quite get past Gatewood into the second last corner there. I think he's going to leave it.
And they've got O'Connor just behind as well.
O'Connor, I think he's got the best run out of those three into the final corner, but no, I think it's going to be too much of a... Well, actually, is Oscar going to do it? I saw him do it in practice. He did overtake someone to turn one, but he'll be brave to do it now. Yep, he's going to... Oh, he taps him!
That was lucky that wasn't a bigger hit. They're going to go 3 wide, though.
3 wide
So
the truck,
Gateway was pushed off, and Hardwick is in the middle because O'Connor's on the outside now. He's going to try and look for a gap as Gatewood. Hardwick breaks later, gets the job done. Gatewood cuts across O'Connor. So O'Connor's done what... Gatewood's done what O'Connor did to Loknowski earlier on, and Gatewood is settled into 6th place behind Oscar Hardwick now. Roy Schroten is a further 3.8 seconds down the road in the CSG. Jordan Weeks is in 3rd. Ryan Walker is in 2nd place, 22 seconds behind James Shepherd.
So it's actually gained time in the pit stop phase, so good job from Ryan there at the end of the day. But will James pit again? Obviously, if...
Well, he has a pit stop advantage still, remember. It was only 20 seconds last time he pitted in and out, so he's still got 2 seconds to play with at the moment if it was 20 total. So James Shepherd can still pit if he wanted to. Or if he needed to, in fact, because these tyres are probably not the optimal ones to be on as Shepherd just laps. Incredibly, the race winner from the last race, Sindre Grinseth, he's lapped him. So Shepherd is on a bit of a charge here. But yeah, 22 seconds is what he had in hand. And let's see what he can do now. And if he can pull out more of an advantage and go all the way to the end, or if he decides to pit.
Yeah, we've got to wait and see, I'm afraid, but we've still got a battle for 7th and 6th, raging on between O'Connor and Gatewood. O'Connor's still behind him. He's a bit of an iffy exit there, but he's still got a slipstream, and Gatewood going into turn 3.
The gaps that currently stand at the moment is Shepherd to Walker 21 seconds, Walker to Weeks is 18 seconds, Weeks has a 7-second advantage over Shepherd's teammate Roy Schroten. Oscar Hardwick is then just 1.9 behind, so we could have a battle on for 4th place between the CSG and Target Racing car. Patrick Gatewood is then 2.8 seconds behind Oscar Hardwick in 6th, with Martin O'Connor all over him at the moment. O'Connor's still out on the option tyre as well currently, as Gatewood is already on the primes. Oscar Hardwick is also on the primes, as is Roy Schroten. Morten Wernersen is in 8th for Vod Bull, and he is also on the options, with Dimitri Duenmeister in 9th out on primes. And Mark Wicks is in 10th place, running out the top 10 on the options.
O'Connor looks like he had a bit of a look into turn 1, but thought better of it. All over the back of Gatewood now as we go up to turn 2. He should have the slipstream, and will he take the inside or the outside line? So he's going to go... Oh, no, I think he's going to go inside. Will he make the move stick? Going to touch it? No, he thinks better of it.
Yep, O'Connor thinking better of that one as Gatewood now pushes on again. He is closing in... no, sorry, he's actually lost a little bit more time to Oscar Hardwick. Oscar Hardwick is really closing on Roy Schroten now, so it's a game on for 4th place. It's 3/10 splitting Schroten and Hardwick.
So we've got a few battles going on at the sharp end of the field. I'm expecting Oscar to get breeze, well not breeze past Roy, but get past him pretty soon. Oscar been looking pretty menacing today when he hasn't been in the incidents.
You're absolutely right. James, he's going to look in the second to last corner here. No, he's not. It may be... Oh, yes, he is.
Wow, brave.
Because Roy Schroten went a little bit wide. Got it sorted out, though. Through the final corner, Hardwick should get a run.
Yeah, as Weeks has actually come in for his pit stops, this is going to elevate them up to 3rd and 4th places respectively. And Oscar Hardwick's actually on the prime tyre, so I think Oscar's actually already had his pit stop, so Oscar could be on for a podium here after having such a nightmare of a start.
Weeks is back out on the option tyres. Has he been on the primes already? Do we miss?
I don't know, I don't think he has.
I don't think so. So Weeks has come back out on the option tyre again. Might be a slight glitch there, but it looks like he's come back out on the options again. So Wernersen goes through. Okay, so Roy Schroten's gone straight on at turn 2, and Oscar Hardwick has now gone through into 3rd place for Target Racing.
So Roy on the primes, he's in 4th position, so it's a healthy 4th position, he's looking good, he's still plodding on there, so good, it's a really good job from Roy today, I'd say. Calm and collective, he's getting the points for the team. Obviously with Target having a nightmare of a race today, Oscar's managed to get some respect for them back. But Sindre Grinseth down in what must be, I think, 10th place now, so nearly 11th.
It looks like James Shepherd's got his pit request light that's just come on as well, so we may see what we saw, or what we were potentially predicting here, Tom, with Shepherd coming in for a second stop.
O'Connor's going to go to Gatewood at turn 1. Oh no, he's thinking better off. I think he's lifted off. So we've got Scott Bennett in here from Innovision.
Hey.
How are we, Scott? That was looks like it was a bit of a moment there with pit lane, and your teammate did exactly the same thing as well. You must be absolutely gutted because you're having a great run at the time as well as race leader James Shepherd enters pit lane now.
I think even if Pavel had made it to his pit box with his accident, they wouldn't have bothered fixing him. I was sat in the pit box and it just wouldn't do anything. Change my tyres, refuel, repair. I couldn't do anything but sit there and wait for the engine to overheat.
Yeah, it's a massive shame for that one as well. As we just will bear with Scott because we've got James Shepherd trundling down pit lane at the moment. He's going to release the pit lane speed limiter. He does indeed. Where's Ryan Walker? He's just gone over the start-finish line, and it looks like Shepherd does still have that advantage. He does. He's gone through turn 1 already.
O'Connor!
So it's 2.8 second advantage.
O'Connor just swings up the inside of the second left-hander in sector 2 and just breezes past Gatewood, so that's 5th and 6th.
Yeah, absolutely. So Gatewood drops down to 6th place. So, Scott, how was your race going prior to the incident you had there into pit lane?
Abysmally. I was having so many issues with just my system here. You get a drying line appearing and it was just not working for me. The dry line was going across grass and bits of the track that you shouldn't really be driving on. So I was driving on a wet track while everyone else is on this dry line.
It's unfortunate to hear because you and your teammate, both the Innovision cars, looked to and appeared to be having quite a strong run inside the top 10 there. Do you feel like there was a lot more that you could have given and a lot more pace within the car, or were you pushing to the maximum because of what you could see in front of you?
I was doing all I could with what I could see in front of me. I mean, with the drier track, I felt so confident with the pace, but then as soon as it started getting damp and the graphics started going, there was not much you could do. Pavel was doing an amazing job. I mean, I saw him start on the wets and I was tempted, but I thought I'd strap with the strategy. We both had to stack at the start when it finally did dry up. But he was doing so well until it all went wrong with the pits. That pit entry is horrendously bumpy.
Yeah, so we just got a move here for 6th place between Morten Wernersen and Patrick Gatewood, and Wernersen goes by on the option tyre but goes straight off the track and Gatewood comes back by. It was a bit too late on the brakes there for Morten Wernersen, but Gatewood's on the prime tyre at the moment and Wernersen is on the option.
Oh, Connor
on the rear wing.
Connor's overtaking Schroeter into turn 1. Oh, he can't make a stick, but where did that come from? Roy's having a bit of a 17-4 from Roy. It looks like O'Connor's really, 16-4 from O'Connor, so O'Connor's absolutely flying at the moment.
Yeah, and the gap between Shepherd and Walker is already extended. It was 2.8 out of pit lane. It's now 6.4, and Shepherd is on an absolutely awesome lap at the moment. He's half a second underneath his own fastest lap of the race. Plenty of curb taking him going into the final sector once again. Beautiful sweeping line for James Shepherd here. Third gear coming through the final corner, and I suspect this is going to be fastest lap of the race. It is half second, a 1:14.2. Incredible there for James Shepherd. As he goes straight on at turn 1.
I think he really does have the advantage right now with a lot of people needing to use the prime tyre, and he's already got that out of the way. Pace on the options is just unmatchable.
Oh, Schroeter goes on the outside of O'Connor into the first left-hander. What a brilliant move there from Roy, considering he's on the primes compared to the options of O'Connor. Really battling for this 4th place.
You're absolutely right, because O'Connor just had a massive oversteer moment as well, coming out of the over the second sector beam, but he stayed behind Schroeter, and he's going to have a great run out the final corner now as well. He's going to flick it right, so they're going to go side by side, but Schroeter's got the faster straight line speed here, so less downforce on the CSG car as he goes into turn 1. He's on the prime tyre though, so that's hurting him the most, as O'Connor is on the option tyre. They've got Morten Wernersen closing in as well, with Patrick Gatewood. He's in 7th place, and his teammate all over him, so we've got 6th, 7th and 8th here as well, with just in front, with O'Connor going up the inside of Schroeter.
Gatewood Weeks in...
Gatewood
Weeks and Wernersen.
Oh, Weeks on the inside, he's got him. He's nudged him, and he nearly got Wernersen as well. So, Weeks on the option tyre has gone past his teammate Gatewood, who's on the prime tyre, and now he's catching Morten Wernersen as O'Connor makes another move on Schroeter into turn 3. Yeah, some brilliant racing here towards the final 10 laps of the race. Between 4th,
5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. All three of them on track. He's at 5. All 5 of them on track are like separated by 2. Oh, Martin O'Connor up the inside of the second left-hander. That's a brilliant move there.
And Schroeten's going to come back at him though, round the outside. If he can get this done, it'd be incredible because he's on the prime tyre. He's got to have a lot of faith with a lot of grip going into the second last corner. He hasn't
Weeks
got it
pushes
done.
Vernison
O'Connor's
out
up
of the way.
the side of him.
Weeks
Vernison's through.
Brilliant
He's
move
back
from
through in the
Vernison.
Vod Bull.
And now he's going to have a run on Schroeten if Schroeten isn't careful.
No,
but
Weeks has got the run as well. Weeks has come back at him. He's going to go to the inside. He's on the option as well. Vernison's got the straight line advantage because he's got the toe off. Schroeten goes up the
Weeks goes
inside
for
as
it.
Weeks just about all
the touch.
But the Multiforce gets the job done. He should have the inside line here now for turn 2. A little bit of a downforce.
Vernison's got the draft from
downforce, I should
Schroeten
say.
though.
And
No,
yeah,
can't
Weeks
make it
breaks
happen.
later, gets the job done. So Schroeten is now trying to chase down O'Connor, and Gatewood is just behind Morten Vernison. Mark Wicks is in 9th place, 4 seconds behind this battle.
I think O'Connor's still got to go to the prime tyre, so O'Connor will actually have to pit again. So, as Weeks is always right behind Roy, Weeks is absolutely stunning pace at the moment. He's absolutely destroying the field. I think he's only slower than James at the moment. So, Jordan really...
17-1 was his last
no,
lap.
That's O'Connor spins! O'Connor spun! O'Connor
He hasn't
spins!
been. O'Connor was just pushing too hard and he spun, and it's now allowed Gatewood to go through. Vernison and Schroeten and Weeks are going to go side by side into this. Oh, it was Martin Bolgins right on the apex of the corner. Oh, wow! That was so close. How did they all get through there? An
Roy had
incredible
to
move by
jink
Weeks to
left.
go around the outside of him, and Schroeten's down to 5th.
Yeah, Roy had to jink left there. I think he tapped Jordan. Obviously, he had nothing to do. I think that helped Jordan get through. But Roy's, I think Roy's got a look at that. Roy, oh, he's going to go for it. Oh, Roy, that'd have been a brave move if you've got that done. But he's got the straight line advantage. Look at it. He's absolutely hammering it down straight.
He's closing in on Weeks, and Morten Vernison's dropped off a little bit, and so has Patrick Gatewood. I think they were trying to negotiate the back marker that had spun. Andreas Waters on the outside of the track there needs to make sure he doesn't come back on. So careful
Roy
there,
gets a bit
Schroeten
wiggly.
oversteered.
Roy gets a bit wiggly on the exit. He's got Morten Vernison's help. He's going to just outside of the draft. He can't quite make a move, but that was some epic racing there for that lap or two. Morten Vernison actually got a brilliant run out there of turn 3.
Those prime tyres are just not working for Roy at the moment, and you have Morten Vernison, the Vod Bull, got the inside. He has indeed.
Brilliant
Good
move.
work, Morten Vernison.
You got Wicks. Look at this. Wicks is catching them all very quickly. So it's got
Yeah, pretty
right
menacing
behind
pace
him.
as well. 16-1 the last lap, 15-8 before that. So Wicks has got some great pace. He's got O'Connor all over the back of him though as well.
As far as I know, Wicks is actually pitted as well. So he's had boost both compounds. So Wicks could be on for a bleeding good result here. Obviously. Oh yeah, he had the wets at the start, of course. Yeah, Dave Smith just pointed out he had the wets at the start, so no need to go onto the prime tyre for Mark Wicks here. Absolutely menacing as Roy Schroeten go past Pestovs there. He gets out of the way. Good job, Pestovs. Oh, if he gets out of the round outside,
Vernison is up into 5th place. He's past Roy Schroeten. Schroeten's still struggling on the prime tyres. Gatewood is on the primes as well. And look who's behind him, Mark Wicks. Wicks is closing on him.
Getting the draft from Waters there.
He's got Waters first before he gets him. It's 2.8 the gap though. That's come down by another second.
Waters not letting him past.
Oh, he's got right up on the curb and just half spun it as Wicks goes by Waters. And where is Martin O'Connor? Martin O'Connor has dropped off to 2.6 behind Wicks. Jordan Weeks is now up to 3.2 second advantage over Morten Vernison after having the fastest sector 1 of the entire race. Shepherd's, oh wow, 17 seconds. I didn't even see how much he gained there, but he's 17 seconds in front of Ryan Walker. He can't have his pit stop 2.8 in front. He's now 17.4 in front.
It's pretty menacing pace.
His last few laps have been 14.2, 14.7, 15.0, 14.4, 14.4. Plays against 16th and 17th for Ryan Walker.
That's PGE for you, isn't it? Absolute pure German efficiency. As Wicks does a 16 flat. Wicks is absolutely on it. I think it's determined. Gatewood has it looks like the inside of Roy Schroeten for 6th place into turn 1. Doesn't think it's better off it. Good move there from Gatewood. Doesn't exactly want to get into any trouble this late on in the race with 8 laps to go.
Wicks is absolutely on it, like you said. He's done the 16.0 the last time round. These guys in front have been doing 17s. Gatewood's up the inside of Roy Schroeten and gets the job done. But Schroeten's got the cut back. He's going to have to drive out the corner. This has allowed Wicks to close in even more now as Vernison is pulling away from the two guys on the prime tyres.
Roy's going to look at he thinks better of it. So Roy he's not taking advantage of the straight line he's got. He's backing away from the five. More sure if he's just trying to get the car home or not, but being very, very passive in his moves. As Wicks is now all over it. Look at that. Wicks had an excellent exit from that corner.
Yeah, Wicks is going to get a great drive out of here as well, and he'll be in right in the slipstream of Roy Schroten. Wicks is a wild old fox, so will he go to the inside for the second last corner? He's going to try it. This is very risky, high risk manoeuvre, but Schroten goes round the outside and holds a position into the final corner though. Wicks should get a great drive. He has indeed, because Schroten could not get on the power at all. And to the inside goes Mark Wicks. This could be for the 7th place. He's side by side with Schroten. We've seen how quick that CSG is in the straight line. He holds position. Gatewood goes slightly wide. This is going to be another run here for Wicks. He can read the virtual art on the back of the CSG racing car. To the outside goes Mark Wicks. Oh, they're so close together. Wixie breaks later. He's got the grip. He's got momentum. He's going to go around the outside. Does he? No. He
Good
gives
job from Roy
Schroten racing respect there.
Good job from both Roy and Wicks. As you said, Wicks very gentlemanly driver. He obviously so many Grand Prix in this series, and he's absolutely right. Does good working there. He's got the inside of turn 3, makes it stick, but will Roy get the switch back?
He probably will do, but Wicks has got the grip, and Wicks is holding that line. He's got the inside line for the next corner as well. And he's gone too deep in the corner though. Can he get it all sorted out? He does.
He's got the grip on the outside with those tyres. He just found the grip on the outside of the corner and kept the power in. He's managed to get ahead.
Those options are being very, very kind to him at the moment. The track temperature is 12 degrees, the ambient's only 5, and these option tyres are working beautifully for these guys. The primes are just getting no heat into them at all, as Gatewood's just gone wide at the final corner as well. This is going to give Wixie another run. Can Wicks get onto the back of the Multiforce pretty much straight away? He's closing on him. He's closing on him quite quickly. Will he get him at turn 1? No, it looks like he'll get a run at turn 2. Very tight line for Gatewood as well. This should give Wicks the better drive of the first corner. Racing underneath the IP Forge banner up towards the Simrace TV banner. He's underneath the rear wing. He'll jink right and probably brake later, I suspect, having the confidence in the car.
No, he takes a bit early. He's actually given Gatewood got a good corner out of that, actually, very good. First notice, Wicks had a 16-1 last lap whilst he was battling with Roy Schroten. So if he hadn't been battling, that would have been an absolutely amazing lap. So
he's done the fastest first sector of the race as well. 4 tenths quicker than his own time, and just under a tenth off James Shepherd. So that advantage he got underneath the rear wing of Patrick Gatewood certainly has helped, as he now chased him down in the middle sector.
Yeah, Verlinton 3 seconds up the road, sorry. So Verlinton had a very good race for Vod Bull in 5th place. Doing a very good job for the team who rejoined the league this year, who's got Jordan Wicks further 6 seconds up the road in 4th. I think that'll be as good as it gets for Jordan today. But Oscar Hartwig did a good job on his Supercup debut in 3rd place, in very good job, 15 seconds behind Ryan Walker in 2nd. And then we've got James Shepherd, 25 seconds lead for James Shepherd today. He's absolutely beasted it.
Yeah, really, really has. And Wixie is closing on Gatewood again. This is over 6th place. Up the inside goes Wixie. Does brakes later. They touch.
Well,
Wixie goes by as Gatewood has gone off. He's back on again, but Wixie was side by side with him going into the first corner. That was a very forceful and direct move there from Mark Wicks. I've never seen that sort of aggression from him. That was superb.
Yeah, there's only 3 laps to go of this race, 3 or 4 laps to go, so he's only got 5 seconds to walk Verneson. Can he get that gap down in the last 3-4 laps? 4 seconds, but Verneson is on the option tyre, so whether I don't think he needs to pit again, obviously. So,
well, let's look at his pace. His pace has been of 16.2, 15.9, 15.7, while Wixie's been doing 16s battling people. So let's see what sort of pace Wixie's got. His fastest lap of the race is a 15.8 is for Mark Wicks, as he's certainly pushing these tyres, and he's going to see if he can bring the gap down to Morten Verneson. But I've got a feeling Verneson may just have the tyre advantage still, as Jordan Weeks is now some 7 seconds further down the road. Oscar Hardwick's 10 seconds further down the road. Ryan Walker, lovely, graceful 2nd place here at the moment, and a great drive for him at the moment. And remember, he's still on a prime tyre. I completely forgot about that. Ryan Walker's still on a prime tyre. What a great job he's doing on that prime tyre. He's lapping in the mid-16, 16.5. Well, these guys mine are doing 16.1. That was the last time for Jordan Weeks. I've been informed by our race cameraman, Mr. Dave Carl-Smith. It actually should give Walker a good position in the championship.
Wixie had a half spin coming out of turn 3 and Gatewood's all over the back of him. Wixie half spin coming out of turn 2 and now Gatewood goes up the inside for turn 3. He doesn't get it stunned though. Very good defensive driving there from Wixie. Broke much later and just hung it around the outside. But I think that's going to gift Verneson the 5th place. He's still got a 5-second gap now. That's pushing a bit too hard from Wixie. Obviously, Wixie rejoining Woods until whenever I come back, basically. So, Wix obviously getting some good practice in for tomorrow, and hopefully, if he can do this sort of performance, I think Ollie will be very happy with him.
I think he absolutely would. So, 27 seconds advance for James Shepherd, as he's on lap 43 currently.
Yep,
and lapping
Verneson
in the mid-14s at the moment.
Yeah, Verneson does a 16th lap compared to 16.4 from Wixie, but he did have that half spin, so 3 laps to go. It's still 3 laps, obviously 3 laps. Can he get that gap down? It's going to be a very tough ask for him to do it.
Ryan Walker, well, let's just look at the reference to the fastest laps of the race. 14.2 is the fastest overall from James Shepherd, 15.7 then for Ryan Walker, 15.0 for Oscar Hardwick, 14.8 for Jordan Weeks, 15.7 for Morten Verneson and 15.8 for Mark Wicks. Patrick Gatewood 16.3, Roy Schroten 16.3,
exactly the same lap.
16.5, 16.3 for Grimseth.
Yeah,
And Grimseth actually, interestingly, is pulling himself back up inside the top 10. So that's encouraging for the target guy after the very strong race he had in Malaysia.
And he's battling Dimon Easter for 9th place, so there's still battles going up and down through the field. As Schroten and Gatewood are very close together, we could see a battle potentially for 7th place between those two in the last couple of laps. Wixie now still 5 seconds behind, so Wixie, I don't think he's going to be getting that gap down to Verneson in the final few laps, I'm afraid. But still a good job from both these drivers. Actually, all the drivers today have had a very good, clean race. Turn 1 very clean, I was very surprised at that. Oscar Hardwick managed to make his way around Villa Moodley to lap him, as James Shepherd is now starting his final lap.
He is indeed. James Shepherd onto the final lap of the race, and he's just done a 1:13.7.
That's basically just saying suck it to the rest of them, isn't it?
That's half second quicker than his own time. A 1:13.7. What an incredible lap that was.
And it's a second faster than anyone else has set. Anyone else. It's closest is 14.8 from Jordan Weeks.
You're absolutely right there, and he's on a 1:13.7. That's 31 second advantage he now has over Ryan Walker in second place. As he's coming up to lap again Andreas Waters by the looks of it, as Andreas pulls out of the way for the Aussie, and Shepherd is flying. And once again, it's that middle sector where he's making a difference. In fact, actually, sorry, it was the final sector that time. He actually did the fastest time through. So Shepherd holding a nice line through that middle sector, and he's lost a couple of attempts this time by, but James Shepherd has absolutely dominated this race from start to finish. A superb run, 2 stops as well. He's let right out of the throttle now. He's just going to roll it to the line. Is he? What is he going to do? He's going to reverse over the line, isn't he?
Naughty. That's a bit naughty.
That's a bit naughty, that. That is a bit naughty. And sure enough, he has reversed over the line. So James Shepherd wins in Austria by going backwards over the line, which is a bit naughty. And Ryan Walker, on the prime tyre, I still remember, who's had an absolutely superb run in the satellite racing car. He's going to come across the line in second place and thoroughly deserved. Great drive, Ryan Walker there.
Absolutely brilliant. His pace on those prime tyres, 15.8 on the prime tyre. That's just Ryan Walker. Bloody hell, he's good. Good job, Iron Brew, man. Good job, man.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic job. And Oscar Hardwick, as replacement man in the target car, has gone into 3rd place. Great job there for Oscar Hardwick.
49, that's a very good time from Jordan Weeks coming over the line to finish in 4th place after an R03. Obviously, he didn't make the grid, remember, so that's a race of what it could have been for Jordan. But good job from him nonetheless. I think
Morten Verneson, what a result. Morten Verneson
brilliant.
in 5th place, and Mark Wicks is going to come across in 6th. A superb effort, Mark Wicks. Gatewood's in 7th, Roy Schroten is in 8th, and it was only the second to 8th were the only unlapped drivers. Everyone else was lapped. Dingley in 9th, Grimseth in 10th, O'Connor 11th, Stones 12th, Dan Rusu 13th, Andreas Waters in 14th, Pestov's 15th, Moodley 16th, Tringus 17th, De Koning 18th, one lap down, and then the retirees were Bolgin, Loknovsky, Bennett, Nichols, Abbas, and Devarkos.
No, brilliant race today. Yeah, no incidents at all. Obviously, a bit of some dodgy defending maybe in the middle part of the race, but yeah, very clean race. And yeah, once again, James Shepherd. What can you say? What can you say?
Outstanding, absolutely outstanding. That race here, it was 59 minutes 28 seconds to be precise. They scheduled usually an hour, but he was going lapping so fast. In fact, that should be another 10 seconds off that, I know, because he cheekily reversed over the line. Ryan Walker in second place and Oscar Hardwick in third, and we hope momentarily we'll just take a little bit of a break here and a breather and hopefully get those guys in the commentary box.
Well done, mate.
Okay, well, you join us back in the broadcast here, and we've got quite a few people to get through here, in fact. So, race winner, Mr. James Shepherd, a superb drive in that CSG car, James. A wonderful effort. How was that for you? Because that looked almost piercingly easy for you. Don't think his mic's working there. Okay, hopefully we'll get James back in a moment, because I don't think he's got his mic working there. So we'll just move on momentarily to second place man, Ryan Walker. Ryan, that was an outstanding effort, and you've moved up one place higher, and you're into second place. So great effort, mate. That's a great run, and also you had some of the fastest pace on the prime compound there towards the end.
Yeah, but I was kind of struggling on the prime compound during the week, and that was my main focus, was to try and get some more pace out of the prime tyres and see if I could try and keep a consistent pace in the primes, and thankfully it worked out.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely, a fantastic run there. Were you a bit worried though at the start when you saw the damp conditions? Because we saw last time in Malaysia, obviously you switched fairly rapidly onto the wet compound, but there was a slight light rain covering the track at the start. I mean, were you worried by that?
I wasn't really worried at all, because I knew as the race would go on, the more as the laps would go on, the track would start to dry, and it would start to get drier on the racing line. So I wasn't really worried. But the only thing was I had to be more cautious at the start, and just in case I spun.
Absolutely. Well, obviously, you taken second today with a superb, absolutely superb race, and you really did drive very, very well. But we believe actually puts you quite nicely in the standings in second place now as well. So you must be very encouraged for the rest of the season because that's three very, very strong races you've had.
Yeah, I'm shocked, to be honest. Well, happy and shocked at the same time, but I just to be second in the championship at this early stage of the season is really good, and it gives me more confidence for the season.
Superb effort, Ryan. Any questions from yourself there, Tom?
None that I can think of, but yeah, great job, Ryan. Absolutely stunning, lad. Obviously, I think you led the race for a few laps. Did you think at any point that you could have won the race, or do you think second was the maximum you could have got?
When I passed James, I thought I had to try and push as hard as I could on once I finished my pit stop. But once James got ahead of me, I just thought there's no point trying to push as hard as I can and trying to keep up with him because I was in a podium position. So I just settled for second because I thought that would be the best I could do.
Yeah,
that's it for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Great effort there today, Ryan, and congratulations on second place and what looks like will be second place in the championship also. But hopefully we'll be able to move back to James. James, your mic working now?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Excellent work. Well, congratulations. That was an absolutely unbelievable win. The pace you had at the start, as I was just saying to Ryan there, with the damp conditions at the start, we considered, well, I'm going to say we concerned us all by that, but it looks like not whatsoever, because that really was fantastic pace you had at the start. 2 seconds up to 4 seconds at one stage, quicker than anyone else out there.
Yeah, well, I was running really low fuel and had my car set up to just abuse the tyres because they don't get any heat around here. Track temps are too low, and it worked. So, I don't know, I didn't do too much practice. I just set my car up, took my Melbourne setup, and I made it really aggressive on the tyres, and it seemed to work for us.
Yeah, it was an absolutely awesome job. One of the only guys actually to do the 2 stops. Were you surprised that no one else did the 2, or was it simply because of how aggressive you went on the tyres that you had to do the 2?
No, the tyres, even though I was aggressive, the aggression was just to get temps. It wasn't for wear. The option tyre still lasted 25 to 30 laps, but the prime tyre I was so slow on. I was, I think, 2 to 3 seconds a lap slower, so I only 2 stopped to get them out of the way. I just didn't want to do many laps on them at all. That's
absolutely fair enough. And well, it's a fantastic way. Well, actually, a great celebration as well. You were reversed over the line there. So, what was that thinking me on that one?
I was a bit bored, to be honest. I don't know. I thought I was actually over the line because, I don't know, previously A1 Ring has that, like Magny-Cours and other tracks, they have the finish line a lot further down, kind of behind the grid, and I thought I'd already crossed the line, and I thought, oh well, I'll just do it anyway. I've wanted to do it on a win since Melbourne, but our team boss, Dave Carl-Smith, keeps telling me, no, don't do that. But I was like, okay, screw it, I'm bored. I just want to do it, I don't care.
Fair enough. Well, congratulations on the win, because that was an awesome job and very much yourself asserted back into the championship. So a great win there today. And we'll move on to third place man, Oscar Hardwick for the Target Racing team, obviously replacing Villa La Pala for this race. Oscar, how was that race for you? A superb effort to come in and go straight onto the podium.
Yeah, well, I thought it was all over because I had some fairly hefty contact in turn 1 and had to pit at the end of lap 1 because of damage that I picked up from that. I just got incited by a driver that had started on the wets. They obviously had quite a lot of grip and quite a lot of ability to slow down, whereas me starting on the wet side of the track had none whatsoever and ended up writing off my suspension pretty badly there. But got back going and just got my head down. I decided to go for the one-stop strategy just because I was still not 100% sure on the best way to go about it. And worked out fairly well. I was surprised at the pace that I had in the primes. Didn't expect that at all, and it really, really worked out for me, and I'm chuffed to bits with the result.
Yeah, it was a superb run for you today. A lot of battling throughout the field as well. Obviously, this has been promoted up into the Super Cup. I mean, how did you find the race in Super Cup? Do you enjoy the Super Cup for what you had today?
Well, today was great, and I guess in as much as it's unfortunate to have an incident in turn 1, it did mean that I had the opportunity to drive against lots of the regulars. And it was made for great driving, great racing, and actually everyone gave lots of room. All in all, I just drove around with a smile on my face and found every minute of it to be really good fun.
Well, it was an absolutely fantastic effort and a great drive. Towards the start, though, the race, how did you cope with the damp conditions that came down at the start?
Well, I was lucky enough to have driven the Formula Challenge race yesterday, as I'm a full-time driver there and only reserve here in the Supercup. And we had the exact same conditions at the start of race 1, and so I sort of had a good idea of what the conditions were going to do and where the grip was going to be and so on and so forth. And it did work out quite well for me, obviously, sans having a crash, but it did. And it also helped preserve the tyres a lot more because you could go offline and cool them down a bit. And I'm a bit of a tyre abusing driver, so with those options, it was great news for me to have a bit of dampness there.
Excellent work. Well, a superb effort today, mate, to get up into third place. Very, very well done and many congratulations. And hopefully now we'll move on. I believe we've got a few other drivers here at the moment as well. Andreas Waters, I think Andreas is with us. Are you there, Andreas?
Yes, I am. Thanks for having
Excellent,
me.
Andreas. Well, welcome to the commentary box. How was that race for you there today?
My pace was very good pre-race, but I didn't really expect the rain, and I didn't really like it either. I'm obviously quite pleased to pick up my first points of the championship, but I made quite a few mistakes, and I can surely improve. Yeah, the end of the race was pretty good because I chose to qualify on the prime tire, so I was slower in the beginning, but then my late stint was on the option tire. It was really good for me.
Well, you did a superb effort there. And how challenging did you find the start of the race in the wet conditions?
Well, the start for me wasn't very good. I'm not good in rain at all. Maybe because I'm a beginning driver. I only have like a half a year of experience, and I can't cope with the rain very good. And I think I made a mistake in the first corner. I hit a couple of people, so maybe I have to apologize to them too. But after that, the race, I had to pit for damage, but after that the race spread out. I had some space to drive, and I just carried the car home, and I made some places up at the end, so very pleased with that.
Well, an absolutely superb drive there from yourself, and we're all very much enjoying your racing experiences and put them onto the forums as well with the YouTube videos. So if anyone hasn't seen them yet, get over onto the forums and see Andreas's YouTube videos and explanations and pretty much driving and understanding, I guess, racing throughout. Do you want to give yourself a little bit of a plug there with what you're doing with the videos there?
Well, first of all, it's really for myself, because I think if you want to learn something, you really have to invest time in it, and you have to do self-criticizing. And with that, I also want to give back to the community a little bit. It's going pretty well so far. I think I'm making quite big steps in terms of driving, and I hope that maybe I can keep driving in the points now. I will keep continuing to do my vlogs, and maybe my teammate was interested to jump in to talk a bit, so that can come in the future too.
Well, superb effort there today, Andreas, and many congratulations on the points also, and we'll see you next time out
Yeah,
at the next round at Hungaroring. Okay, so next man we have is Patrick Gatewood from the Multiforce team. Patrick, that was a very eventful and chaotic race towards the end there for you in particular, but a superb race and a lot of pace there for you as well, with a lot of promise. How was that one for you today?
Thanks a lot. Yeah, I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. There was a lot of stuff going on. During that turn one, I kind of got nailed a little bit. I think I took it too far on the inside probably, but yeah, I kind of dealt with damage a little bit throughout the whole race. Had some fun, did some good battles, but yeah, liked it.
Yeah, your pace on the prime tyre in particular was very, very good and got you into that midfield scrap where there was about 4 cars at one stage around you, including your own teammate. And that looked pretty entertaining. How was that for you?
Definitely a lot of fun, having a lot of wheel-to-wheel action. I actually didn't know I was doing that quick on the prime. I think it was just because the whole track sort of drying out instead of just having the dry line there. That kind of helped with that. But yeah, just fought and did what I could.
With the strong race result that you've had today, do you believe you and the team can push forwards to achieve a podium?
I definitely do think we can. Jordan was fourth. When I got off, it said he was in third. I thought he had got a podium, but I guess something happened with Oscar's thing on there. But yeah, I think we're really close. We're pushing there, and I think one of these races we'll be able to do it.
Oh, excellent job today there, Patrick, in the Multiforce, and wish you best of luck next time out also. And we should move on now to it's James Shepard's teammate, in fact, in CSG racing, Roy Schroden. Roy, how was your race there today? Oh, looks like we've lost Roy, in fact, there. Okay, so I think that's all the guys we got here, Tom. So, Tom, pretty impressive race there all round, especially in the midfield. And James obviously running away. Any final thoughts from yourself there?
Well, is there anyone who can stop James, really? It's obviously Valila Parla wasn't here today. It'll be interesting to see what he can do when he's back. Hopefully all is well with him. Oscar, I mean, if Oscar gets a full-time seat, he could do some stuff. Obviously had a bit of an incident at the start, so maybe Oscar could be a challenger if he came into it. Ryan Walker, brilliant drive today from Ryan. Could he be a title contender? We'll have to wait and see. Brilliant race today, though. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, spot on there. We'll round out the broadcast. Obviously, just mention the fact that the next race is on April the 10th at the Hungaroring in Hungary, and that's going to be a very, very intense race with a very close racing on a small circuit. And we will look forward to seeing you then in 2 weeks' time. From myself and Tom tonight, a very good evening, and thanks for watching.
Thanks, bye-bye.